They're one of the most infamous invaders on the planet, the cane toad, a creature that seems almost purpose-built for ecological destruction. Today, we're diving deep into the world of this warty amphibian to ask a critical question. Can we actually control one of the world's worst invasive species? It all started back in the 1930s. Sugarcane farmers in Queensland, Australia, were desperate. Native greyback cane beetles were munching through their crops, and they needed a solution. Someone had a bright idea. Let's import the cane toad, a native of South and Central America, known for its voracious appetite for insects. What could possibly go wrong? Well, pretty much everything. The toads, about 102 of them, were released near Cairns in 1935. It was a classic case of a biological control gone horribly wrong. The toads weren't interested in the cane beetles, which were often too high up on the stalks for them to reach. Instead, they found a paradise. Australia had plenty of other food on the ground, and more importantly, no natural predators equipped to handle them. And that's the cane toad's superpower, its toxicity. From the moment they hatch as tiny tadpoles, cane toads are poisonous. They have large glands on their shoulders, called parotid glands, which secrete a milky white toxin when they feel threatened. This potent cocktail of chemicals, known as bufotoxin, is lethal to most Australian predators that try to eat them. Goannas, quolls, snakes, freshwater crocodiles all have suffered massive population declines after encountering cane toads. The unlucky predator that takes a bite often doesn't survive the experience. This deadly defense mechanism, combined with their incredible breeding ability, turned them into an unstoppable force. A single female cane toad can lay up to 30,000 eggs at a time, twice a year. That's an astonishing reproductive rate. Their tadpoles are also highly competitive, even cannibalistic, sometimes eating newly laid eggs of their own species to get a head start. From that initial release point, they began to spread, and spread, and spread. Imagine a slow-motion, warty tidal wave washing across the continent. They've conquered Queensland, pushed into the Northern Territory and New South Wales, and are now hopping their way across Western Australia. Their territory now covers over 2 million square kilometers, and they advance at an average rate of 40 to 60 kilometers per year. That's faster than ever before. The toads at the forefront of this invasion, the so-called pioneer toads, have evolved to have longer legs and move faster, relentlessly pushing into new territories. The ecological impact is devastating. It's not just about the predators they kill. They also compete with native amphibians and reptiles for food and shelter. They eat almost anything they can fit in their mouths: insects, small mammals, other frogs, even pet food left outside. They're a walking, hopping ecological disaster. So, the big question is, what can we do about it? For decades, the primary method of control has been community toad busting. This involves groups of volunteers heading out at night with buckets and gloves to physically catch and remove toads. While it feels proactive and can reduce numbers in a local area like a backyard or a small park, scientists agree that on a large scale, it barely makes a dent in the overall population. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. The toads just breed too fast. This has sent scientists on a quest for a silver bullet, a way to control cane toads on a massive scale without harming native wildlife. The journey has been filled with complex challenges. One early idea was to introduce a disease or a parasite that would specifically target cane toads. This is incredibly risky. If the pathogen mutates or jumps to native frog species, you could create an even bigger ecological catastrophe than the one you're trying to solve. Researchers have spent years investigating viruses from the toad's native range, but the danger of unintended consequences has, so far, put a stop to this approach. So, scientists started thinking smaller. What if we could target their most vulnerable stage, the tadpole, Professor Rob Capon from the University of Queensland had a breakthrough. He discovered that cane toad tadpoles are irresistibly attracted to the toxins of adult toads. It turns out, cane toad eggs release a chemical pheromone that lures other cane toad tadpoles to them. Why? Because the tadpoles are cannibals and see the eggs as an easy meal. This led to a brilliant idea, baiting traps with the cane toad's own chemical attractant. Scientists created bait using the toxin from adult toads. They put this bait into funnel traps and placed them in ponds and waterways. The results were astounding. The traps caught thousands upon thousands of cane toad tadpoles, while native tadpoles and other aquatic life completely ignored them. It was a highly specific, effective method. This tadpole trapping technique is now being used by community groups and land managers, offering a more targeted and efficient way to clear toads from specific water bodies. Another innovative approach focuses on genetics and behavior. Researchers are exploring something called gene drive technology. The idea is to release genetically modified toads that, for example, can only produce male offspring. Over several generations, the population would become entirely male and eventually crash. This is powerful, cutting-edge science, but it's also controversial. Releasing genetically modified organisms into the wild carries significant ethical questions and potential risks that need to be thoroughly understood before it could ever be implemented. Then there's the idea of teaching the predators. In some parts of Australia, native animals are learning the hard way to avoid cane toads. Some clever crows have figured out how to flip the toads onto their backs and eat their internal organs, avoiding the poison glands. Researchers at the University of Sydney, led by Professor Rick Shine, have pioneered a technique called taste diversion. They expose predators like quolls and gonas to smell non-lethal cane toads or baits laced with a nausea-inducing chemical. The animals get sick but don't die. They quickly learn to associate the smell and taste of cane toads with feeling ill, and they avoid them in the future. This teacher toad approach is showing real promise in helping vulnerable predator populations survive the cane toad invasion front. But perhaps the most holistic solution is not just about removing toads, but about strengthening the ecosystem itself. Healthy, complex ecosystems are more resilient to invaders, restoring habitats, ensuring waterways are healthy, and maintaining strong populations of native species can create an environment that is less welcoming to the toad takeover. For example, some native meat ants have been observed attacking and eating young cane toads, acting as a form of natural biocontrol. By protecting these ant populations, we can help the environment fight back on its own terms. So, can we control the cane toad? The answer is complex. Eradication on a continental scale is likely impossible. There are simply too many of them, spread too far and wide. The dream of a single silver bullet that will wipe them out is probably just that, a dream. However, the war against the cane toad isn't lost. It has simply changed. The focus now is on strategic management and asset protection. It's about using a combination of tools, tadpole trapping, predator training, and habitat restoration to protect specific, vulnerable areas and species. We can create safe havens for native wildlife. We can reduce toad numbers in national parks, around important wetlands, and in our own backyards. The story of the cane toad is a powerful, cautionary tale about the dangers of messing with nature. It shows how one well-intentioned but poorly researched decision can have devastating consequences that ripple through ecosystems for decades. But it's also a story of human ingenuity, scientific discovery, and community resilience. From volunteers on a nighttime toad bus to scientists in a lab deciphering genetic code, people are fighting back. We may never be completely rid of the cane toad, but through a combination of clever science and dedicated effort, we can learn to manage their impact, protect our precious native wildlife, and hopefully prevent a disaster like this from ever happening again. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the world of the cane toad interesting, Please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of science and nature. See you next time.